Dress is right here, Biat.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody! You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE.
Give me a hell yeah!
Now, let's meet the host. Kyle Gagliardi.
The face that runs the place.
Jim Tucker.
It's the kid!
And Erica Marini.
I'm the boss. I'm the blueprint. I'm the standard.
Well, I think we've had enough talk. It's time for the main event.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM, Kyle Gagliardi, and one of my co-hosts is my good friend, Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Chucky!
What's going on, Kyle? Excited to hear about your weekend at Forbidden Door with at Erica _0328 Erica Marini. Sup, dog?
Hey, some dogs. Little rattled tonight, but we're making it work. I'm excited. I'm still riding high on that Chicago weekend. So
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
good to be here. Good to be back.
Erica and I were reunited in Chicago, Illinois. Long weekend.
You know, if it's going to be a yearly, no.
I knew that one. I didn't. What'd you say is good to be, Erica?
No, I forgot what you said already. I don't
Weird.
Oh,
I didn't know goats could talk. What's up, guys? Hey, Ryan Matthews checking in from the Pigskin Project, a part of the Overtime Sports Network. He will be live, I believe, after us. So if you're a football fan, go ahead and check out that podcast and check out everything else.
This is the pre-show for the Pigskin Project.
The only two shows for OTSN right now. You see the big logo ahead of me? We still are affiliated with
Thursday
the
night. Hey, what better setup? Thursday night doubleheader. You got On the Mark podcast for all the wrestling folk. Pigskin Project right after. OTSN just playing the hits on a Thursday evening. Love to see it or hear it.
We do. Erica, you got new merch.
I do. Also, I'm on my phone, so if anybody says I'm off comment duty tonight because I can't see any comments. And I hate them. So
and your audio is a little different. So if anybody is listening back at it at a later time, that's what's going on over there. You didn't have your typical recording thing set up this week, did you?
No, my day got all shuffled and I'm not live on location. I came from happy hour and I don't even have a damn computer. So this is what we're doing.
Hey, but you're still here.
Making it work. Mm-hmm.
That's what we do here.
I have my priorities.
After 101 episodes, I think we're going to be able to figure things out. You know, we've been doing this for quite a while. But talk, I know what Erica did this weekend. How was your weekend, man? I know you didn't get to experience all the things that we did, which we will probably touch on. But how'd you enjoy Forbidden Door?
Well, so my weekend on Saturday, we drove up to Truckee, California, which is about an hour and a half away, north Lake Tahoe.
Truckee, California?
Truckee, close. Had a wedding there, beautiful, at a ski resort. And then
Nice.
On Sunday, drove home and stopped and ran. I got about 19 miles in on the course of the 50-mile race that I'm running here in a couple weeks. And then I was able to come home, settle in, order a Chicago Mike's pizza, which is actually not trash.
I was going to say, because if people try to replicate Chicago style on the West Coast, it can't be the same. Right?
I had a big eyebrow raised when I saw Chicago Mike's, but it's right down the street and very close to Aurelio's style. So thin crust, sweet sauce, life is good.
Do you see the comment down below from Ryan Matthews? He said, every episode I watch, I always stare at the belt and Tuck's background. He might have to snag one himself. He could take the OTM PLE title from you because we probably will open up a Google Doc, right?
Oh, 5 minutes into the podcast, Kyle's already playing the funny hits. No, the belt's mine.
I thought you were
But
laughing
I
at
have,
Fergus's comment for a second there.
I'll pull that back up. What he's referring to is Power Bomb Pizza, the meaty Macedon. I was planning on getting that in Vegas this weekend. They're actually doing a buy one get one free Power Bomb Pizza this weekend. So down in Vegas, Money in the Bank.
Plans have kind of changed a little bit, though. You want to speak on that publicly, or are we going to keep that internal?
Yeah, Lil Mama's got COVID, so I might be the guy sitting in the middle of 3 seats by myself with all the leg room, just man spreading in the garden. I don't know. I don't have a lot of friends over here that don't have 4th of July weekend plans that are just so flexible they can drive to Vegas.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck me.
Not ideal. Erica, I don't know if you're aware, but you are muted. Like, I don't know if you know that or not, but I can tell on our screen right here that it says you're muted. How about now? Can I hear you now?
Unintentional.
There you go. All right. I just wanted to be sure because I do want to talk about our weekends because obviously me and you were in Chicago. This is my, actually, believe it or not, only second time ever being around Erica in person, which is pretty crazy to think about for the 4 years or so that I've known her. But Erica, it started off on Saturday, or at least for me and you together. You flew in on Friday, and then we met up Saturday at the White Sox game, and it didn't start off hot. We had a little bit of a rain delay there.
We had a rain delay. We had some...
Like an actual rain delay?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. We had some issues, but we persevered. We made it in the game, and it was...
Does Erica sound bad to you, Tuck?
Like a fucking alien.
Okay, Erica, we're gonna have to figure out that audio before we keep going. Just saying it. Let me remove you, and then I'll bring you back in. That's how we're gonna do it, right, Tuck? The show must go on. So
So
there we
Pigskin
go.
Project Ryan Matthews says, "Fly me out, Tuck. Tag me in." If you want to fly out here, it's free housing and a free ticket. I won't, but paying for flights for people is a little. I'm a baller, but I'm not like public school money only goes so far. You know what I mean? Public school teacher money. So didn't teach summer school to buy flights for other people. Yeah, at minimum, I could just sell the tickets. Go to San Francisco and hang out with Pat and Rat for the weekend. They got White Sox Giants in San Francisco. Much shorter drive, probably. I don't know. There's a lot of shit up in the air, but I've got 2 seats. If anybody wants to actually fly out and make me not pay for their flights,
there's an open invitation to go to Money in the Bank with Tucky. But let's
ticket.
try to bring Erica back and see how she's sounding.
There she is.
Erica, how are you doing?
Hello?
Okay, that's not going to be good. Erica,
Try it
we
again.
might have to.
What does it sound like?
Oh, it's not good, and it's not going to be good listening back.
You ever have one of those like kids mics when you were younger and you could sing into it and it acted like a mic, but it didn't make it sound like a mic? You know what I'm talking about? Pink. Kind of sounds like that. Like we hear words, but it also sounds like you're on a voice modulator. So
Even still?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's still happening, Erica. And I don't, no offense to you. We love you. You're a co-host, but I don't know if I want to have the listeners listen back to you sounding like a robot the entire episode, because that might not.
Okay, fine. I'll watch as a viewer tonight.
All right, Erica. We can try to bring you back in if you want to just leave the studio completely and then come back in a little bit later. We can always try that again.
I think the first question is, are you on Wi-Fi?
Do you have Ethernet?
Yeah.
I have the thing.
Are you on Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Because you sound like an alien.
Look who just popped in too. Oh, hey boys, I've been standing at this tee box on the course for 15 minutes while this family has literally been sitting down on the green. Yeah, that's good, Ian. I don't give a shit. We're talking about wrestling here. So if you're going to come into my show, don't bring that kind of energy, you jabroni. All right, Erica, we'll try this again in a few minutes. Hopefully we can get your audio to work out.
We'll bring her back in on intermission. We do need, and we do have to fight for Erica to be on this podcast specifically to give us her rundown of Forbidden Door.
Right.
We've had a lot of representation at these a lot of the past live events. I mean, if you run down the year, Royal Rumble, Hell in a Cell, Double or Nothing, Forbidden Door. What else? I mean, there's been shows.
If there's been a pay-per-view or premium live event, one member or two members of OTM have probably been there.
We've kind of been holding it down. Hello, Ian. How are you?
He wanted to say hi to
nice
you because I just roasted him in a little Heliardo promo there. But I'm going to go on a little bit about the weekend while Erica's away. Unfortunately, she can't join me to discuss all that we did. But like we said, rain delay on the White Sox game, but eventually we got settled in about an hour later. So it wasn't a super long rain delay. Had a couple beers, some fantastic seats courtesy of Erica Marini, almost behind home plate around section 120. Yeah, it was a nice little gesture from her coming into town. Yeah, I was surprised, but we stayed there for about 8 innings, had some good food, some good vibes, and then me and Ian headed back to the region. They went off and did their own thing. Then on Sunday, we kind of were apart for a little bit, and was it you that noticed the Johnny signing going on?
No, you mentioned it. I looked it up.
I'm not the one that knew that it was going on. Somebody brought it up
in the chat. Yeah. Somebody in the chat last week. I looked it up and got some details. But hello to Dirk, and then also before we talk about the Johnny Gargano, hello to Dirk and Donna. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've heard the claps for Donna.
She's usually at the Four Seasons concerts on Thursdays during the summer, so that is why she probably isn't saying hi. But yeah, nonetheless, there was like a card show and a Johnny Gargano meet and greet going on. You could spend $50 to get an autograph and a picture with Johnny. I opted in just getting the picture and having conversation with him, which I wasn't fully expecting because you've been to wrestling meet and greets, right?
Yeah, I mean we did Kevin Owens. I've met Mick Foley as well. We saw The Miz. So a lot of meet and greets are kind of bump and run, especially the free ones. And when we paid $75 for VIP with Mick Foley, got a minute. We got to sit down with them. We were down there for a minute or two, so that was cool. KO, I thought we got plenty of legs meeting him for free, and then The Miz, given what time we got there, where we were at, crunched and kind of smushed time wise. A little bump and run. And that's kind of what I expect when we go see Bianca Belair in Nashville at the free meet and greet at the Cricket Wireless. Hey, Bianca, sign this little ditty, get our picture, and we'll see you. And when it's free, that's great. When you pay, you'd like a little bit more. And it sounds like that's what you got with Johnny. Talk about that.
Yeah. So when I got there, it was like 10 a.m., I believe. It started at 9:30. It was going to like 11:30. There was maybe 25 to 30 people in line. I thought it was going to go through quick, and then Johnny was kind of just going to be sitting around. That was not the case. Like Johnny, for every person that came up to him, spent at least 2 minutes to 5 minutes chatting with them about anything and everything you wanted to talk about. I had a conversation with Johnny Gargano about wiffle ball, something I never thought I would talk about. But Johnny Gargano was like, I have respect for those who play wiffle ball because I've played in a few tournaments and those pitches are insane. He even said that to me.
Okay. All right, because I was about to say, as you were mentioning that over the weekend, I was like, I don't remember Johnny Gargano having a big wiffle ball background. Was it something? Was it your hat or
no? It was a conversation because remember I used his walk-up song for my walk-up.
Oh, got it. Okay,
throughout GBL days. So yeah, that was my in. I was like, I hope I got your blessing to use Rebel Heart. That's my favorite thing. And we talked about his feud with Ciampa and how he says it's not over yet. Like this is a story he wants to continue with Tommaso Ciampa. So it was kind of cool to just sit there and interact with one of my favorite
Gargano at Money in the Bank. It's gonna be great.
Wouldn't that be something? No, he said he's sitting out the year for his baby. That's what he said. He's not going to be wrestling this year. So
that's respect.
But overall, it was an awesome experience. He's my favorite NXT superstar of all time. So to be able to spend a couple minutes with him.
And you mentioned, so you had bought a figure, but you mentioned on the Twitter sphere that you might have him sign your NXT title.
Yeah, so I might do both at StarCast because he's going to be at StarCast, and he spent time at this specific meet and greet signing every single thing you had, whether it would be one item or 5. Like some guy had every single figure that Johnny ever had in the WWE, and there was even one figure that Johnny said he couldn't even find anywhere. So, like, it was very rare. He did his smiley face in the signature. Like, he went all out for this meet and greet, and I respect the hell out of him for it.
Awesome. Well, you want to try bringing in Erica? We have not got
Erica's
to
muted.
Forbidden Door talk. Erica is muted as we bring her in. She's going to have to unmute herself, and then she's not going to sound like an alien here. Erica, how we doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Still
There we go.
Oh,
Don't
no.
touch anything.
good.
Yes.
Yeah, you sound great.
That's better.
Right here.
Is there anything
back.
you'd like to add on for your experience in Chicago before Forbidden Door?
So basically, your flight Friday up to the show. Kyle just recapped his visit with his meet and greet with Johnny Gargano. He did touch on the baseball game and how you hooked him up with good seats. It sounds like, Erica.
Yeah, we had baller seats. It was a good time. We ate, we drank, we were merry. It was a good game overall. Thought I had a burp. Yeah, no, I always have fun out there, and I won't be too mushy, but it was fun.
Yeah, she forced me to take some pictures too. So
What'd you say?
I said you forced me to take some, pretend happy pictures, but I wasn't happy being around here all that time.
Oh, okay.
It's just so much.
You're making me throw up, dude. You're a liar, dude.
What are you
Stop.
drinking, by the way? I just keep looking at
Is
you.
that a woodchuck?
It is.
It's a
What's a
woodchuck.
woodchuck?
Yeah,
I've
which
never
is
heard of that.
They do ciders. That's an amber. She's killing it. Her name's Erica, but she's drinking an amber. Hey, I'm here.
Speaking of Erica, Erica's got a fresh new tee out. It says "fuck off" from Erica Marini's name on it. It's in pink. It's in bright colors. So you can go to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. Use promo code MITB this weekend, and you will save 15% off any order. You just don't have to order the Erica Marini shirt. You can order the Listen to the Pot on the Mark shirt. You can be the MVM, get an MVM shirt. You can get a tank top. You can get some joggers. You can get some slides. We got every single thing on the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. Right, Tuck?
And if you visit onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com and purchase something using the code MITB, if you and I know each other and we're friends and you want to buy a plane ticket to Las Vegas for this weekend, I have room for 2 more and a reservation at Top Golf on Saturday. You just have to buy something from onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com and kind of know me. Let's not be weird.
That's a good deal.
It's a good package right there. To spend some time with Tucky of OTM. I would do it if it wasn't $600 and I had a
Jimmy
million
down
other things.
bad. Ew.
Yes,
Would you
sir.
do it if it was $500?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't do it if it was $200, to be honest with you, buddy. I have a lot going on this weekend.
All right.
4th of July weekend. And we have
you'd fly home on the 3rd, so.
Yeah, well, I don't want to. I have plenty of things planned on the 3rd as well. A lot going on, like I said. So let's talk about
Money in the Bank ever.
I do too. I really do. But before we talk about Money in the Bank, let's talk about the Forbidden Door pay-per-view that happened on Sunday. Erica, first off, the seats. We were originally in the upper deck, kind of parallel to the ring. I thought you could see all the action, and that's a good value right there.
Oh yeah, it was way better because I remember when.
No.
You said no.
It's happening again.
Okay.
Romo
I remember this is better now, right?
Yep.
Why'd you make that face, Kyle?
Because it's not.
No, it's good. We got it.
Keep going.
When we got the tickets, we just wanted to get seats and just get in, and we were like, if we could find something better, we'll do it. And the only seats that were available, like at the time of sale, was like section 300, whatever. And I remember telling Kyle that that's what I got, or that we got tickets. You're like, yeah, just don't get section 300 because those suck. And I was like, oh, okay, great. But they weren't bad. They weren't bad at all.
No.
We were like dead center.
Well, dude, 300 level when you're watching a hockey game and you're trying to find a puck, ass. So that's what I had in my head as well. That 300 level tickets, you're in the building, you're probably having fun, jumbotron maybe, but from the pictures, it looked like pretty good. And shout out to Vogus for saying I'm worth more than $200. Really appreciate that. He Vogus got his package that I sent to him. Erica, has the package that I've sent you arrived yet?
I don't think so. Also,
Probably
thank you,
not.
folks. I'm not on whatever. I can't do comments when I bogus. So anything funny you say, don't think I'm not laughing.
He said that he likes his Marini with a little bit of
I
static.
saw that. I just saw
Okay.
that. Good look at the chat, but it's not regular.
Yeah, the static is still there. I don't know if do we keep going, Tuck?
Yeah.
Or?
No,
All
because
right.
you can hear what she's saying. You can hear what she's saying. We're going.
I just don't think the listeners later are gonna like it. That's all I'm saying.
All right, I'll just comment. Goodbye.
Well, but here's what I have to the listeners. If they don't like it, they can subscribe to our Patreon.
We don't have one. We don't have a Patreon.
And I think the Patreon is sound even worse.
Yeah, that could be a thing.
No,
that could be a thing.
Nope.
All right.
I think I've got gifts for both of you. I'm sending both of you USB interfaces with mics. Yes.
You know what to do with that?
What's wrong with my microphone?
I mean, it could sound better, right?
I mean, I guess it could.
Bogus votes to keep her on. Hey,
that's one person.
If you're in the chat, that's the majority right now. That's the only vote. If you're in the chat right now and you want Erica, if you want
Erica makes a good point. Who's gonna say get rid of Erica? We don't want to deal with that shit.
Focus.
Let's talk a little bit about the pay-per-view then, because we're already 20 minutes in and we haven't even really talked about wrestling. So Forbidden Door itself, obviously the atmosphere was fantastic. I thought the crowd was into every single match there.
Everything.
Yeah.
What a hot crowd. And not for nothing, but I'm like really glad about it because people were, as we moved seats, the seats that we were in were selling for $7. We ended up moving seats and buying whatever, for like $20. And everybody was getting rid of their seats. Nobody was happy with the card. Obviously, there was a lot of injuries and a lot of unforeseen things, but it was amazing. And that crowd showed up and just was so freaking into it. And it just made everything that much better. I thought it was electric.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it was a bad show, because it was a very good show, but a crowd just takes it to that next level. Having a good interactive and energetic crowd takes it to that next level. But Tuck, would you say that it came across on screen like the crowd was super into every single thing that was happening?
It felt big. Yeah. I mean, from every match, no matter who was in it or what was at stake, the crowd that was in that building felt like they were there to see a good show. And it felt like, regardless of my opinion on who was in what match for what when, it felt like it meant something to everybody in attendance. So it had a big feel to it. Yeah, and Ian is saying apparently our friend Jeremy the Ref claimed that the show to be the best ever put on by AEW, even after he brought up last year's All Out. Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but I definitely enjoyed the hell out of it. Tuck, I'll ask you this first. We don't need to get into every single match, but what was the one match that stood out to you? What was your favorite match of the night? Dude, there's one answer to that question. It's Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay. There's one. So a lot of matches were great, okay? But if you're gonna come off of that card, the four-way would have been match of the night, but weird, right? But yeah. Again, we went into it when they made. I think a lot of people shared my sentiment, our sentiment, where when it was Will Ospreay announces Orange Cassidy, your first reaction is like, "Aw." And you have to remind yourself and remember that Orange Cassidy is a bad man. It's always because the first thing you think about is the thumb and the soft kicks, right? The gimmick kicks. And then you have to remember, dude, and nobody talks about the Adam Cole match that he was in. They list all these matches that were bangers, and Adam Cole is never on that list, and it should be towards the top because that match was badass too. Yeah. But what he and Will Ospreay did, and then he just follows it back up on Dynamite last night, puts on another great match. He's more ripped and more shredded than Adam Cole too, by the way, which people don't want to fucking talk about. I think it's time. I think it's time that Tuck purchases an Orange Cassidy shirt. Welcome. And then I think it's time for, I know people as a whole putting respect on Orange Cassidy's name if it's not there already. That was match of the night. Don't at me. Match of the year, very strong contention. It's got to be on your list. Yeah. No, it is on my list. And Erica, before you talk about your match of the night, I just want to say I've seen Will Ospreay work a couple times, and obviously you hear plenty of things about Will Ospreay. That dude's phenomenal. That dude is so clean in the ring. He is so agile in the squared circle. He is a spectacle to watch. Him and Orange Cassidy, easily my match of the night. I can maybe give you another match so we're just not harping on one. But Erica, was that
your match of the night, or is there something else, maybe an Eddie Kingston match potentially that caught your attention?
Cut it out. No, that was my match, and I echo every sentiment that the two of you have said about Orange Cassidy. And I think too, what drew me is that like outside of the ring, him and Will Ospreay are like total opposites. Like Ospreay's in your face, gaudy, like cocky son of a bitch, and just Orange Cassidy's just like whatever. So, like seeing them like have that in the ring was just like even more. Oopsies, sorry.
Yeah, and like Vogus said, the crowd makes Orange Cassidy a big deal. And he's right, because everybody buys into the gimmick, and that makes it awesome and fun to watch. I totally agree with our MVM down there. But Erica, is there any other match that really stood out to you other than that one?
I mean, I loved the tag match, and I don't know if it's just because
Which tag?
Oh, I'm sorry, the FTR.
Right, okay.
I just had like full body chills.
So did you buy into that as a work or a shoot with the whole Dax Harwood situation? Because I thought it was real the whole time, but apparently it was a work.
Wait, what situation?
Where he was totally sent to the back because of a shoulder injury, and then he came in.
Oh, and then, yeah, no, I think I bought into that and freaked a little bit. Another one that I liked, I don't know if I liked. I'm loving. This is total opposite. I'm loving the Acclaimed and
Ass Boys.
And just, I mean, before everything that happened on Dynamite, but I just love like how they played into like, what's his name? Bowen's injury, and how like Billy Gunn's all in on it. And just, they're like making the whole thing work and like getting the whole crowd to chant like ass boys. Yeah. Like it was just so fun. So there's a lot of like little things that I loved. And then the Eddie versus the Minoru Suzuki chops when they were just going like at each other. Like I had to edit that video, but if I were to post an entire thing on Instagram, I would embarrass the living daylights out of myself. But you
might not have heard me, but I go, Erica's wet, right when that was happening.
I did not. There's a family in between us, Kyle.
I don't give a shit who's around me. If you pay money to go to a wrestling event and I'm around you, there's no filter. I'm sorry.
It's true. I mean, I was more into that night.
Oh, yeah. See, somebody doesn't like it. Hey, where's that static coming from? That is coming from Erica, Dirk Bogus.
She was trying to do the Dixie Cup through a yarn to us. That wasn't as effective. So we've went to dial-up internet from 2001. Throwback Thursday, if you will. We're doing our best.
Yeah, this is how it is when we got somebody on the West Coast, somebody in the Midwest, and somebody on the East Coast. You know?
We keep it real. We keep it raw.
Yeah, there's no edit.
Come and just talk in the comments.
Stop.
But you have to play every one of my comments.
This isn't good because me and Tuck have conflicting opinions, and so does the chat. So you're just gonna stay here. That's what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry.
So let's.
And if you don't like it, we got 2 words for you. Suck it.
Oh.
That is where we were going with that. Oh, so Ian kind of alley-ooping this. Thoughts on potential dream matches for Claudio. That was the next thing I was going to talk about because obviously it took a lot of the headlines. The opponent of Zack Sabre Jr. we found out would be Claudio Castagnoli. He is officially all elite and a part of the BCC. That is something I noticed right away when his music hit and his Tron showed that they had the Blackpool Combat Club logo on his Tron. And I immediately said that to Ian. I was like, holy shit, this is going to be the perfect fit. And not only is he the perfect fit for the BCC Tuck, but his match with Zack Sabre Jr., probably my second favorite match on Forbidden Door. I thought it was very good.
Well, you know, and just look at his first like 5 days in AEW and like superimpose that on his run with WWE. His first 5 days, he's wrestling Zack Sabre Jr. in a match of the night candidate, and he's climbing up to the top of the cage for blood and guts and doing the spin with Chris Jericho, which is to me scarier than throwing Mankind off of a cell.
True.
The idea of you getting let go and flung off, like Jericho said on Instagram, one of the most terrifying spots he's ever done, not because it hurt or was painful, but it could have been.
You never know.
Erica, what do you think? That crowd's reaction was pretty special too.
I loved it, and he deserves it. And I read, obviously, that wasn't the original plan for his debut, but it just sort of worked out with Danielson's
Do
injury.
you know what the original plan was, or they didn't?
They did not plan. They did not plan on debuting him at Forbidden Door.
Okay.
But it just,
No, he was going to debut at Ring of Honor.
oh,
Really? That was what they said?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that.
They were
Okay,
gonna
so the
hold him to
injury forced
debut.
their hand.
They were going to hold him and have him debut at Ring of Honor, that show in Lowell. Yeah. At Death Before Dishonor.
I'll be there.
Vogus said, I love Claudio, but I hope his matches are more than just uppercuts going forward. And he brought out all the tricks. I mean,
European uppercuts, so.
And he has his powerbomb finisher that I believe he had on the independents before he came to the WWE. But yeah, uppercuts are a big thing. Jericho will never tap out. No, he will not. And he tap out actually in Blood and Guts?
Yeah, to Claudio.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know what Robbie's talking about there. I guess
Robbie, you cry.
Yeah, he's crazy. He doesn't know what's going on. So yeah, I'm very excited for what Claudio is going to be able to do in AEW. But the final two matches is the last thing I kind of wanted to discuss, because obviously those were the marquee matches. You had that fatal four-way for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. The finish, though, Erica, was very awkward, and we now have seen reports. I don't know if it's facts or not, that Adam Cole might have suffered a concussion, and maybe that's why he didn't take the finishing move of Okada. And so him getting pinned by Jay White to retain was a little awkward, and you kind of felt a silence in the United Center after that match.
Yeah, it was a little, I don't want to say lackluster, but it left something to be desired. It was a little unsatisfying. I did not think anybody but Jay White would win, but the way that it went down, I was just kind of, But then reading the reports, I mean, those are just things that are going to happen. You got to like call it on the fly. So, I mean, at least that was. Yeah,
it is what it is. And I do want to say this too. Okada probably had the pop of the night, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah.
That was a loud reaction.
But what about Shibata?
No, Okada's was. I think Okada's was louder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm asking. I wasn't there. I'm asking from the perspective of the UC.
And then did Kyle tell you about when I met up with him and Ian at what's that place called? The Donkey
Billy Goat Tavern.
Billy Goat Tavern.
The Donkey Goat.
They when they met these like kids, these like huge marks. Oh wait, are they watching the show? Did you tell me?
No, they're probably not watching.
Well, one of them was hammered, and I was giving him ocular pat downs the entire time, so I was ready to like take this kid out. No, one sweet me, bro. One sweet me. Like he was so fucking annoying.
He's one of those guys, Tuck. You've dealt with him the best.
All he was trying to do was take one quarter, drop it. I don't know what he was going for, because one coin hits the table and it sounds like one coin, but he wanted to make like the Okada song like entrance.
Gone.
For some reason just kept like trying. He was like,
I've been there.
He overstood his welcome a little bit. Like he was nice at first. He bought me a Vegas bomb, but then he just like sat at her table and wanted to too sweet you every 5 seconds. It's like, all right, man, it's time to go.
We dealt with that dude before Revolution that was too sweet and everybody in the bar,
same
whether
energy.
they gave a shit or not. I mean,
what's Vegas bomb? You drop
You don't drop anything in it. I think it's just Red Bull, schnapps, and vodka, I believe.
Also, Bogus, Eddie always gets a giant pop. I'm not cutting
especially in Chicago.
Yes, and I love that there's constant like Eddie chants and everything. Like
it is an easy chant. Like
after Blood and Guts, I have moved my chip from liking Eddie Kingston to being slightly more infatuated with him.
Ooh, I'm glad I got all
I'm
your
still
Eddie.
out.
That happens.
I'm still out. I had that conversation with Ian. I was why everybody's in on him. I don't get it.
No, because it's something relatable about him. He's just a dude. I think the way he walked out, just booping him with the kendo sticks, and then he's on top of the cage. The post match, as they zoomed in on him, and he's just talking like a real like, I'm kind of fucked up here, but I'll be all right kind of guy, like that kind of stuff. There's a lot of that where it's like he is a flawed human and he deals with shit, and that he doesn't overwork to like cover some of that stuff up. That makes it more real to me. So I'm an Eddie Kingston guy.
I'm not. Don't worry, you're not going to convert
just
me.
Just not the Yankee shit though. Knock that off.
Yeah, he fuck off with the Yankee shit, right?
Fuck off.
That's right.
Erica Marini. on the markwrestlingpodcast.com for all your merch needs.
Promo code MITB this week, and we'll save you 15%. So that's the one of the last two matches. Let's talk about the main event. Jon Moxley winning the AEW interim World Heavyweight Championship against Tanahashi. That was personally my first time seeing Tanahashi go, and I know a lot of people referenced it, that he's kind of, I think washed is a harsh word. He's just older now and can't go the same way that he once did. So the main event fell flat for me. I'm just going to be honest.
My friends said that he's been going hard and steady and constant for like 20 something years. So like that earned my respect, that like he's not like a part-timer. Not that anybody
Agreed.
That was, but like just knowing that he's been like a total workhorse and just like going balls out for like as long as he has. Yeah.
Tuck, what do you think about the main event?
The rhythm of it wasn't great. It was kind of up and down, a little sporadic. I thought the finish was a little bit sudden, kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
You like those big badass spots at the end that kind of put a stamp on the match. We didn't get that. And damn it, Jon Moxley, you don't have to bleed every time you step into a ring, my guy. Like our bodies, our bodies are just a blood bag. He's going to run out at some point, because in the span of 5 days, he lost more blood than I have in the last 6 years. So
dude's a madman.
There's that too. Mista wasn't fond of watching that one. Kind of the oohies, the heebie-jeebies a little bit. But for me, the rhythm from the 4-man up until it got wonky at the end, and then like pair that with those two, I thought it would have been great. But it just start, stop, like where are we going with it? And
I mean, the first couple hours of the pay-per-view were fantastic. I thought
there were definitely better matches.
Oh yeah, like that first 2.5 hours. I mean, Pac winning the All Atlantic Championship. Tuck in the TikTok that we have out there. Make sure you're following us on TikTok at Pot on the Mark. Even said he'd like to see a Pac run. I did too. I was rooting hard for the man, and that was a very solid match. Even what's his face, Connors in that had a good showing. Is that his last name?
Clark Connors. I think.
Yeah,
big horn energy, too. Baby. Love that.
So overall, obviously a good pay-per-view, Erica. If you were to give it a grade, what would you give Forbidden Door?
Well, you know I'm always hot, so.
Yeah, you are.
A 90.
Okay, A-. That's fair though. That's a fair rating. Tough.
I was in the ballpark about 87, 88.
Me too. I was going to say B+.
Where I'm at with that is like, can you call it the best AEW pay-per-view of all time when half the card was NJP? You know what I mean? Like,
no.
This pay-per-view should be compared and held up to the next Forbidden Door style pay-per-view.
And you know
what?
It
shouldn't be held. It's not. You don't hold AEW up to double this. Don't hold Forbidden Door up to Double or Nothing. Not the same. So I think it's a different variation of a wine or a beer, you know. And it was a great show. I think it over delivered because I had low expectations given that
Bogus said it wasn't even top 10 for them.
Have they had 10 pay-per-views total?
I don't know. They've probably gone over it.
81. They definitely have not had 80. But as
great as an 81, I think, is what he's insinuating.
Oh, an 81 grade. Okay, I was about to say 81 all time out of 17. Weird.
Yeah, that was the best.
But it was a good show for me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed learning about some of these guys I wasn't familiar with. But again, when I'm watching it through the lens of like, I need to have thoughts about this for a podcast, it does root the investment a little bit different. But I thought it was a good show. Was it like instant sellout, United Center sellout worthy? I don't know. But
for some people, it probably was.
For all the adversity,
there is a lot of New Japan diehards there.
Don't forget, when it sold out, we still had Punk, we had Daniels,
right?
We had much more.
Before I was cut off, I was going to say they had a ton of adversity and a ton of injuries that they had to make up for, and I thought they did a great job for that as well. No further comments.
Take a breath, because I will always cut you off. You should know this.
All things considered, with the hand that they were dealt, I thought it was very entertaining, and I'm glad that we got introduced to some new wrestlers. Like Tuck kind of said last episode, it's like when we first started watching AEW, just learning things. felt like that kind of same vibe there at Forbidden Door, at least for some of the competitors. Huh?
Is that what the little cars are called?
Micro machines. Yes.
Okay, I was going to talk like the guy from the Micro Machines. That's like.
Okay, so the last 2 matches weren't good. We'd bash WWE pay-per-view if matches went that way. I mean, I think we gave constructive criticism for the Forbidden Door pay-per-view.
Well, and I think so as well. I think we fairly assessed the last 2 matches, and when you zoom out and you look at a whole card,
right.
The thing that WWE does though, like if they've got a good card, their bookends, the first one and the last one are usually bangers. So that is an accurate point where like they start us off hot. I mean, you think about Hell in a Cell. We had Hell in a Cell at the end, but they started us off with that women's triple threat that just put
like my GM mode on WWE 2K22. You got to start hot and you got to finish hot.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and they almost reward you for booking the same match over the same 8 weeks too. So their formula is in the video game. You want to figure out what they're thinking.
It is. Erica wouldn't understand that reference. She does not playing 2K, but yeah, that's definitely how my GM mode is. So yeah, we're gonna take a quick break here, and then when we come back, we're gonna talk about the Logan Paul news, and then get into our Money in the Bank predictions.
What's everybody saying about the On the Mark podcast?
It's just insane, and I love it.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
Unlike any other.
It's a great show.
We'll be right back after a brief intermission.
So Steve gave us this wonderful question. He wasn't able to tune in live. He said, "What's up, gang? Sorry I can't watch live tonight. Can't wait to catch up on delay. Wondering what your instant reaction was to Logan Paul signing a contract with the WWE. We found out this news just earlier today around 2 o'clock Central Time. My initial reaction was, I'm excited. I think this is a win-win for the WWE. I think it's best for business. What did you guys think about hearing this news that Logan Paul has now signed a contract with the WWE?
Did they say what the contract was for?
They just said he signed one. What's your initial?
He's less insufferable than his brother, and I liked the match that he had at Mania, so I'm open. I'm just not, I don't know, 100% sold.
Okay. You're not thrilled about it, but you're like, let's wait and see what happens.
Yeah, he's kind of like twerpy to me.
Yeah, that's fair. He's got a weird reputation. Obviously, he's very popular on the internet, YouTube star.
He is, and I don't like that.
Yeah, so Tuck, what are we thinking? Logan Paul, big signing or not really?
It is a big signing because they've got some big shows. And so Ariel Helwani reported that it's for an undisclosed amount of premium live events. So we're not going to get a ton of Logan Paul in that, TV title type scene, mid-card, banging it out. I think a good prediction would be that we're going to see him at SummerSlam. It feels like they're
100%.
loading that SummerSlam card a lot like they were trying to do one of the nights of Mania. We're getting Pat McAfee up probably, and that'll probably be my tank top that I'll be rocking. I think I'm going to get the SmackDown tank top if you'd like to join me in that. I think Logan Paul is good for the SummerSlams and the WrestleManias and the Survivor Series and things like that, because he's proven that he can go. So I was excited about it because he's pretty good at it. And if you want to make the big money, like, you got to intertwine a little bit, because we want wrestling, we want WWE pro wrestling to be a reflection of the lives that we live. So let's put some of these real normal other people in the ring and see how they can go. And I do think Logan Paul is that athletic. Like that makes sense.
But do you think that his whole thing is going to be like, he's going to be protected and they're going to make him like, fuck you, Logan Paul?
No, I think he understands that part of the business, that you're telling stories, you're playing a character. He's been a character on YouTube for years. Yeah. Right. Like when he hits the record button, he puts on this mask of who that Logan Paul is.
Yeah.
And he probably really enjoys poetry and nice tea, sitting under a tree, making poetry.
And some Prime. He's got Prime, the drink.
Yeah. So I think he's built for it. I'm excited.
Yeah, and Robbie's in agreement with you. He's very excited for Logan, been a fan of him for a while. He also has the potential to be special. And Vogus kind of saying what we're saying. he's just a pure heel, and he's a fantastic signing. I think it's just good for business both ways. And I think he can actually work as a face, maybe with this whole Miz feud that they got going on, because the people forget the Miz is the one that turned on Logan Paul at WrestleMania. So maybe Logan works as a face here for SummerSlam against the Miz, and then eventually, he can go off and do heelish things. But I think he's going to bring in a whole different audience. It's kind of like when you have a WrestleMania and these celebrities show up, and their track record with celebrities recently has been fantastic. You look at the Bad Bunny edition a couple years ago, He was great. Logan Paul was fantastic. Pat McAfee is obviously a success because they just keep going on with Pat McAfee feuds.
And let's not hate on Johnny Knoxville. He had a little run.
Yeah, I forgot about Johnny.
He had a couple pieces. Wee Man slamming Sami Zayn. I mean, come on now.
Come on.
That's a good point. So yeah, that was some big news I wanted to touch on before we get into our Money in the Bank predictions. But Tuck, you are our OTM PLE champion. You see the belt right there behind Tucky right now. We're going to have a Google Doc this weekend for the
form is already built. The only thing I'm waiting on is the last entrant for the men's match.
Fair.
So
that's fair.
Everything's built. I haven't sent it out yet, given that. But it'll be ready to go as soon as we know. So if I do travel to Vegas, I'll have the Chromebook with me. That form will be ready to send out basically as close to we know. You'll have all day Saturday to fill out the form and get your predictions in. Going to be a little bit of a late scramble, but I just want to make sure the form is right. Unless you want me to send it out now with like random mystery guy. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. So
Tuck is going to be the last entrant.
Tucky in the Bank. Well, I don't have any friends that'll go. So maybe I'm just bored. I'm here. I'm in it. So.
I do like Tucky in the Bank. That has a ring to it. So Tuck, since you are
Tucky in the Bank.
Yeah. If you are our champion, I'll let you go first for this match then, and then we'll go to Erica and then me. We have Theory, the United States champion, taking on Bobby Lashley. What are we feeling here, champ?
Well, this is an interesting one because this is kind of the first like formidable opponent that Theory is facing as the champ. So he's got the backing of Vince McMahon a little bit. I thought the challenge was going to get laid out last week on Raw. I shot my shot on Twitter thinking that Vince McMahon was going to come out, propose a challenge to John Cena at the 20-year. I was hoping to get some sprinklings of that. We did have the video segment of Theory kind of bumping into John Cena and saying, this is my place now. And because of that, I'm going to go with Theory retaining. Maybe not necessarily clean, but I think Theory is going to keep the belt.
Okay. Erica?
I don't know how it happens. I don't know, but I agree that somehow Theory retains.
But that the tough part that I think you, Erica, you and I are having in this is like when we fill out the form, who are we going to say is the winner?
Correct.
Because the person that walks away with the title.
No, because when we did Royal Rumble, Seth won, but Roman retained. So unless you picked Seth Rollins to win, you didn't win that you didn't win that column. So it's like, do we change the wording on the doc to like Theory retains or Lashley wins the championship? Because that's different than winning, because Lashley can win with Theory walking out with the belt. And that's the conversation I'm having with myself.
But Theory can retain
and everyone
if Bobby Lashley gets DQ'd.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. If Theory just walks out and gets counted out, he doesn't win the belt on a count out. He's got to get pinned or submitted.
And retains, right.
That's the mental gymnastics I'm trying to play. I think Theory is going to win, but I think Theory is going to have the title when he leaves Money in the Bank.
Yes.
But I don't necessarily know if that means that Lashley loses.
I don't need to play gymnastics in my head because I know my pick. Bobby Lashley is winning the United States Championship. Theory versus John Cena doesn't need to be for the U.S. title. You can just book that as is. The future versus the GOAT. It writes itself without a title, because I don't want to see Theory versus John for the U.S. title and John loses, because I don't think John should lose any championship match, especially against one of their youngest rising stars. I just don't think it's the right time. So my thinking is Bobby Lashley's a former WWE champion. Theory losing to a former champion is not going to lose any credibility for him. So Bobby Lashley, who has been pretty hot this year so far, I think will continue that momentum and take that U.S. title.
And I like Bobby's momentum, and I'm happy for it. However, did you see, obviously, I'm sure you saw the tweet that was like, what if John Cena got like an IC title and became a Grand Slam champ?
Saw that, yeah.
Gunther was like, just let me know, or like whatever. Like that would be cool. Like plus, Cena made it a point to be like, oh, like I don't know when you're gonna see me next, and like made it a point to allude to the fact that it's not gonna be like one more match.
More than one more match.
It'll be more than one match. It like he'll be around like this and that. So maybe we are all getting set up for the Theory versus him. But what if it is like a Gunther like feud? And
I'd be cool with that.
Gunther.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know.
The Ring General. It's disappointing he doesn't have a IC title match, but I guess he just had one with Ricochet and SmackDown. So probably.
And we've never seen that.
Yeah.
And I can't believe Cena never won the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about because he's been around
How
for
is he not
20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Insane. So Eric, I'll let you start off this one. We got the Unified Tag Team Championship match between the Usos and the Street Profits. Do you see the ones taking an L here, or do you want the smoke?
No. I want the smoke, but I don't see them taking it out.
I both no.
Correct. Yes.
No, I think the Usos retain. I think there's something going on with the Street Profits. I think they're still trying to like find themselves outside of being like
drinking and dancing.
Profits are up. Yeah. So I don't know. And if they're trying to go, I know obviously they're not the heels in this match, but they are kind of starting to become more maybe like themselves, more
edgy.
Yeah, edgy is a good way to put it. So I feel bad if they lose here, but I mean it's to the Usos, so I really don't think there's anything to be.
Yeah, the Usos give me like FTR vibes in WWE right now.
And I
like,
loved when Dax tweeted, he's like, maybe we the ones, Us.
Oh man, if they ever did a Forbidden Door, there's your match right there. I mean, FTR versus the Usos. We've obviously seen it as the Revival versus the Usos, but it'd be a little bit different nowadays. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Erica. I'm also going to go with the Usos. I would like to see the Street Profits kind of surprise us here. Like I'm hoping for a good surprise on this card, because if you look at everything that's not a Money in the Bank match, it kind of seems predictable. So if there were to be one match where you just surprise everyone, I think this could be the one. I just don't personally see it happening. So Tuck, I'm going to agree with Erica, and I'm going to go with the Usos.
Yeah, I can't find a reason why, from a storyline perspective, the Usos would lose the titles. So I'm keeping the belts on the Usos as well. They are announced for that house show in Reno with the titles. It is not announced that they're having a tag title match, but if the Usos are arguably the biggest draw at that house show in Reno, they should probably have the gold with them. So or the gold and silver, one of the
silver and
that's where
gold.
I'm at. That's where I'm at. Yeah. The Usos are going to retain. I would love the the build hasn't been big enough, and there's not enough.
But there has been a build though.
No, there has. But what I'm saying is like it doesn't make sense for the Usos to lose their titles now with Roman not really in the picture yet. But
I feel like once they do, that's the start of like the fall.
Right.
Well, and SummerSlam could be when it starts crumbling. You know what I mean? That's not that far away from where we're at Saturday. That's 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Yeah. You got 4 Raws. You got 4 SmackDowns.
That's insane to think about.
Let's go.
And then we're doing that whole SummerSlam thing. And like Bogus said, they have been testing the waters with the singles matches with Montez. You can tell that he's slowly getting more of a shine than Dawkins is. And Robbie said he thinks the Usos retain as much as he'd like to see the Profits take it. He just doesn't think it's the right time for the Profits to win.
Well, and I had a little bit to Vogus's point was like I had that thought when Montez had the singles match this week that like both of them roll up to the arena, they look at the card and they're like, "Hey, what's up, Profits? Montez, you're gonna have a singles match tonight. Angela, you're gonna be ringside," and Angela's probably like, Dawkins.
Yeah, Dawkins. I get it. That was a good one. Yeah, no, that definitely could have been the case. So let's move on here. I guess I'll go first for this one. SmackDown Women's Championship, Ronda Rousey versus Natalia. I'm going to keep it simple and short.
I got a quick question. Did Mike make this card here? Natalia.
Oh yeah,
did Mikey Wilson make this card? It is Ronda
Rousey. Can't be perfect all the time.
Hey, missing 1 out of 900 is not that bad. Pretty good ratio.
Yeah.
And he thought that was funny. It's Ronda. That's it.
Yeah, we could have said it on the count of 3 together.
I was gonna say, Erica, you don't even need to add anything onto that, right?
Nah.
I saw somebody throw out a feeler.
We've said nothing, and there's nothing to add. Like it's gotta be Ronda.
You guys covered all the bases.
I did see someone fantasy booking Shayna Baszler potentially costing Natalia this match, and then Ronda's got like a heater with Shayna Baszler.
What do you mean a heater?
Like a good feud? Yeah. Shayna Baszler strikes me as someone who's like tough and bad enough to give Ronda a chance. Right. Natalia talks funny.
Shayna needs it. Yeah.
I think this is the easiest pick. Ronda all day long. That could be the easiest pick, or it could be this one, which Tuck gets to go first for, because we're just going in order. Bianca Belair versus Carmella, who is technically a fill-in for Rhea Ripley.
And this one is going to be and still Bianca Belair. Now Carmella did send out a spicy tweet like, y'all want to shit on me, but you gave me a dude with no chin. You gave me this. You gave me a mask. You've been doing it, and I'm here and I'm out. Yeah. So Carmella,
I respect Carmella.
Had some arguments. She had some legit arguments, but she has 0 arguments against Bianca Belair. I can't wait for the 2 shirts that I bought my wife and mother-in-law to stay at home this week.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. Still mad. We'll figure it out, though. It's going to be a good week, and I got to stop being pouty and just come up with a solution.
Come on.
We'll figure it out.
We got it.
Let me see if I can make it with that.
Yeah. Let's make that happen.
Erica, your pick?
Bianca Belair. I was going to make a joke, but then I didn't have and I did.
Why'd she say it like that?
I don't know. I don't know.
If Rhea was in this spot, do you think Rhea would have won?
No.
It would definitely have been more of a thinker. You don't think so, Tuck?
Match of the night, but it wouldn't have won. She wouldn't have won.
Till Mania? Oh, no, I don't. Vogus said I'm very happy Rhea versus Bianca isn't happening. Needs to be held at Mania. I think you can do it at SummerSlam. SummerSlam's right up there with WrestleMania. Like there's WrestleMania and there's SummerSlam.
Right, and they're trying to book it that way when you start looking at the card the way that it shapes up. And I think, there's like 6 months between the two. You could run it back. There's enough separation between those two where you could run it back. Selfishly, wouldn't be mad about Rhea and Bianca at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think that's the direction we are going in. So I'm going to go with Bianca Belair here to retain against Carmella. So Erica gets to start us off for the women's Money in the Bank match. I'll read off the participants, Erica, because you might have forgot. We got Becky Lynch, who just qualified in the main event of Raw. You have Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Shotzi, and Lacey Evans.
I'll tell you, I don't want it to be Lacey Evans. Becky doesn't need it. I'd be all right with Asuka. I'd probably be all right with Raquel. I just think I'm going to say, like I've been saying, and like everyone's been saying for like the past 3 years, is just give it to Liv.
Okay.
Give it to Liv.
And I wasn't saying that. I'm saying if there's the next closest pay-per-view, SummerSlam is definitely number 2. There's no question, right? To Mania, SummerSlam is definitely number 2. That's what I'm saying.
I go WrestleMania, Crown Jewel.
Right.
Extreme Rules, Backlash, and then SummerSlam.
The Super Showdown doesn't make your list?
No, yeah.
Oh, shit. You're right. That's 3rd.
Yeah, don't forget about or the Christmas episode of Monday Night Raw.
The Mayhem on 34th Street match.
Every year. The same street gets that match. Damn it.
Yep.
Robbie is going with Becky Lynch as Erica is going with Liv Morgan. When I looked at the field, I felt like Becky was the obvious one, just storyline wise and the way things have been going. Becky Lynch does make the most sense. But then if you look at it for someone who probably could benefit the most from it, I'm looking at a Shotzi or a Raquel Rodriguez. I think if you really want to strap a rocket to one of these ladies, those are your two options right there. But the reactions that Liv Morgan is getting in live crowds and the social interactions makes me think she has a chance. And you can't count out Asuka. So there's just so much to think about going into this match. I'm going with the same person I picked in last year's Women's Money in the Bank, and she did not win it. I'm going with Liv Morgan also to win Money in the Bank. This is more maybe what I want to see. I also want to see Raquel because I think she's great. But Liv Morgan, the story would make sense because if we do eventually get to Bianca versus Rhea, and Rhea maybe potentially takes that title away from Bianca, Rhea and Liv have beef. They used to be on that tag team. That's an easy cash-in opportunity for Liv Morgan. And I think it's a good way to get more people behind her because she's one of the top baby faces they got right now.
Liv deserves something. Also, one sweetie, bro.
Yeah. Boom. All right, Tuck. Let's see it. What do you got?
It's gonna be Becky Lynch. Because she is crazy. You can roll your eyes, but why does Liv deserve it? Oh, she needs why? Because we watch Liv like. Okay, Becky has a character that's going crazy. She's going nuts. She'll do anything that she can. She can utilize
for her to lose.
She's the one that needs it the least, though, if you're looking at it from the grand scheme of things.
No, she needs it the most because she is not who she is without a title. So by any means necessary, she'll do whatever. She wrecked the ladies in the main event on Raw. She earned the title. She's on the poster, right? Like what does Money in the Bank do to Liv? Like that
it puts her in the world title out scene.
Yeah, sure. To lose to anybody else, it's relevant.
I don't think she's going to fail a cash in.
No, great. And then when she has the title, she's going to have to fight somebody.
Yeah, but you got to give her a chance eventually. You can't just keep pushing the same exact people.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Sunday.
Right.
No.
Yeah, Tuck.
Okay, so here we are having a respectful conversation on a podcast.
We are.
Family are.
Becky can use the briefcase better than Liv will.
Correct.
Because it builds into Becky's character. So y'all can get off the toilet and stop shitting on me.
You went with the favorite. I agree with you. She's the favorite to win.
Because it makes the most sense.
Yeah. But I'm just going off it. The Liv Morgan does make sense too. And I do agree with Erica that she does deserve it. That's what we're saying.
It doesn't play into Liv's good girl next door, watch Liv bullshit, whatever that is, for her to run in and pin somebody that's already got the shit kicked out.
They've had baby faces win Money in the Bank and cash in. Just cashing in on that.
I'm aware.
Hey, we're having a discussion here. And that was a good one to have. Because the women's Money in the Bank match is an interesting one, as is the men's. So does Tuck get to go first for this one? Is that where we're at? The men's Money in the Bank? Here's a refresher on who's in it, though. You have Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Omos, Sami Zayn, Riddle, and TBA. Obviously, when we're recording this, we do not know who that 8th member is going to be. That will be determined, I believe, on tomorrow night's SmackDown. So
now, obviously,
this pick could change depending on who gets in on that 8th spot. But Tuck, looking at the field right now, where's your head at?
Well, so for me, eliminating mystery guy, right? Like the mystery number 30 pick in the Royal Rumble is kind of a hot pick, but like predictable. Like you picked Ronda for the women's Royal Rumble, speculative, but like not a crazy idea. And then she was and then ended up winning. Here, I don't know who it's going to be.
Logan Paul.
It could be. It could be. I don't think he wins if it is Logan Paul. So
something.
When from a storyline perspective, do you go with Drew winning the briefcase to try to cash in or hold something for Clash at the Castle?
Mm-hmm.
Do you go with Seth to cash in to do the Brock Seth thing?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you go with Matt Riddle to win it, to hold the briefcase to potentially give to Randy? also.
Oh,
Right. So the briefcase doesn't always stay where it's at. Right.
last year.
And if Randy's playing that, like I might hang it up, not going to work. I don't know where I'm leaning for selfish purposes. I want Seth Rollins to win. I've loved what he's done lately. When I look at the character Drew McIntyre using the Money in the Bank to cash,
it seems weird, doesn't it?
Weird, but I think But are they going to do it where he sets up a match like Brock?
Like John Cena did. John Cena did it.
I've won the briefcase and now I want a match. Didn't Braun Strowman do that?
I think Braun, yeah, that match happened because of that. Yeah,
I hate that.
I agree.
So I'm going with Seth Rollins because we've seen it done before, and Seth Rollins has had iconic cash-ins, like the most iconic cash-in.
I feel like he's Mr. Money in the Bank. Has anybody said that?
Probably.
Miz he was.
I haven't heard it. Yeah, Miz has.
I feel like he is.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with Seth Rollins on the podcast right now. Our official picks will be when we fill out the form, but I don't know who the mystery or guest opponent would be that would really change my mind to think it would be them.
Maybe Ezekiel or Kevin Owens.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
And they're not going to win.
To me, is there somebody else other than those big three?
It's way too soon for Big E. It's way too soon.
A stretch. Riddle is a it's not a stretch for him to win, but that I don't think it's a stretch for him to win with the people, his athleticism, that match that he had with Roman. His stock is very high right now too. Drew is the Clash at the Castle poster. It's his face, a sword, and then everybody else. So there's that too. And I'm going with Seth Rollins right organically. Now. You know, I don't. Well, whatever falls out between Seth and Brock at SummerSlam, Drew can shonk his sword down and say, "Hey, I'm next."
Right.
You know, without a briefcase.
Protecting home field, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
and then Seth cashes in Cardiff, like in front of 70,000 people. You know,
that'd be wild. That's major heat.
I hope they do. I hope they don't screw it up with Money in the Bank, because you get a lot of Royal Rumble vibes off the Money in the Bank, right? Royal Rumble comes up. Who's it going to be? Who are the picks? Lottery. We had a great time. And then it was kind of like a wet fart. Money in the Bank. Awesome matches. Great. What are they going to do with the briefcase? Cool. Otis won and then gave it to somebody else.
Rey Mysterio Asuka cashed in for a title when she won.
Like exchanged it.
Yeah. Like some weird past Money in the Bank winners. Just do it the old-fashioned way. Cash in.
Yeah.
Make it exciting. Erica, who's your pick?
I mean, I think if I had to guess, if I had to take one right now, I would say Seth Rollins. If not, I would not be angry at Riddle winning. I think that he needs to do something. Not that he needs to. I think that he can do something outside of the Randy thing. And I think the RK Bro pairing sort of put him on that level and got him over with the crowd as he is, especially now in Randy's absence, that they're still like eating him up and that they're all behind him. So I'd be okay with Riddle. I think my sleeper would be Sami Zayn, because briefcase, come on. Like, that just writes itself. So any of those three, but if I had to say my front runner would probably be Seth.
Well, our picks are probably going to be boring then, because I'm also going with Seth Rollins. It just makes the most sense. But I want to go off of your Sami Zayn comment, because that was the next person I was going to pick if it wasn't for Seth. Just because there's so much fun and so much stories that can be told with Sami, with the briefcase and the bloodline. He can just be holding on to it. Roman, I have this briefcase. Nobody's ever going to get to you, man. Bloodline forever until Sami Zayn potentially turns on him. Like, that would be insane.
And that's like his in. Like, he wants to be in with them, and that's like...
Yes, and it's a natural way to turn him babyface, because Sami Zayn's great as a heel, chicken shit heel, but babyface Sami Zayn goes hard. Like, that NXT version of Sami was legit. So if it wasn't Seth, I would want to say Sami Zayn. I'll tell you who I don't want to win, and that's Omos. Like you go the Omos route. Is there no way?
No, there's not going to be a way.
By the time his big ass gets down to the ring to cash in, the dude's going to be awake. Whoever it is, they're going to be fine.
Here's the briefcase.
Could we see another heist of the century if Seth wins? Yeah, maybe he holds off at WrestleMania and does it all over again. But yeah, like Seth Rollins just seems too obvious where I don't want to pick it, but I'm just going to go with it because there's so much possibilities with that too, because he's the only guy that's really gotten a Roman Reigns in the past couple of years, and he can dangle that right in front of his face. Yeah. And also, when Cody Rhodes comes back, you have that built in with the world title scene. It's just, it makes too much sense. So, yeah, like you said, talk to add on Drew. It's just weird me visualizing him with the briefcase. I can't see it. Sheamus, not the time. Already done it. Riddle, yeah, I could see it, but it's Seth freaking Rollins. It's got to be Seth. So that's my pick, which I think that is the card right there, Tuck. Tuck goes with Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins for the women's and men's. I go with Liv and Seth, and so does Erica. So
and, if Becky and Seth both have the briefcases, like
it's like Britt and Adam Cole.
There's some swaggy stuff some drippy stuff. Does Becky put goats on her briefcase and decorate it? Does Seth have a briefcase that turns into a drip case? Like, I'm kind of here for that.
He dresses the briefcase to match his suit every week.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be good. There's a lot of things that can be done, and Money in the Bank is always one of the more exciting PLEs, I will say now, things that WWE does. So I'm looking forward to it. It's on a Saturday. We got 4th of July weekend. Vibes are high here in the USA. And that is all we got really this week. But before we go, it is that time of the show where we award our most valuable mark. And I don't even need to go to the chat right now because we have an and still MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, Ryan Vogus.
And
he didn't even have to go with the chat.
He is
I did have to go with the chat. I did not.
He did not get my vote.
He's pretty flush in the sticker department too. I sent him like 50, so he's good for a while. I just
thanks, Robbie.
And he's all good. So well deserved.
I do believe next week there is an opening for the MVM. I believe Vogus is going to see Thor.
Potential. There is some potential.
The
Mr.
Forbidden
Vacant
Door
might be popping up.
Yeah, the Forbidden Door, I guess, is open here at OTM. But I think that's all I got. Erica, it was wonderful seeing you this past week.
I'm sorry that I sound the way that I sound, but it was great seeing you.
Don't ever apologize for sounding the way you sound. Your voice means something.
I do on a daily basis, but this time a different way.
Oh, it's because you didn't win the MVM yet, Mr. Vogus.
Mr. Vogus, you get my vote. I'll mail you.
Well, Ryan's flush right now. He's got a few extra. I'm gonna tell you that
because he is a valuable mark. Mr. Vogus is a valuable mark.
One of the most. He's one of those guys that he's like a lineman in the NFL. Like, does their job, doesn't get the headlines, but are you going to win the game without him? You're not. No. This podcast isn't much without a guy like Dirk. You know what I mean?
That's right. Hey, talk about
I gotta get and Ryan's got an immediate retort. Buys him an OTM shirt. Isn't grateful. Wow.
We got a father and son feud going on in the comments to close out episode 101. You love to see it. But Tuck, I was gonna say I need an MVM sticker. I got to give one to Ryan because he brings a lunchbox to school every single week. We got to stick one on there for sure.
Oh, I might just end up getting Ryan an On the Mark Wrestling lunchbox.
Oh, that's probably a thing.
No, we got to get him a Money in the Bank lunchbox.
He has the Money in the Bank lunchbox.
Is that the lunchbox he uses?
Well, he's using it this week. I told my mom, I was like, you got to have him use the Money in the Bank.
Dude, it's Money in the Bank week. Come on.
Yeah. And I'm going to be watching it with him. I'm going to be watching it with him.
I'm the same way, when I went to the gym on Monday, I wore my John Cena shirt because it was 20 years of Cena.
I bought that shirt, by the way.
One guy was like, respect, so I love that. But I'll definitely, I need to mail it to him.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll get
I can get you their address.
Yeah.
Erica, any final remarks?
Glad I made it. Glad this weekend happened. It was fun.
Yeah.
And go buy the Erica Marini shirt.
You can do that.
Where at?
On the MarkWrestlingPodcast.com.
God, she's good. Tucky,
I'm still glad that we've got no Slash. But, dude, Money in the Bank this weekend. Who's excited? If you kind of know me and want to come to the show, I've got seats to my left and right.
Make a Tucky sandwich if you want.
Yeah.
And we've got Topgolf reservations, too. So don't get my money back if I cancel. So that's going to be great. Saturday, Money in the Bank. Then we'll be back Thursday. Potential vacant most valuable mark title up for grabs, depending on if Ryan Bogus wants to go see Thor at that time or has tickets already. I don't know, but great opportunity for that. Make sure you follow us at Pot on the Mark at TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. We're also on Facebook. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. It all means something. Don't forget MITB. That's a discount code for onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com. Save yourself 15%. The Google form will be done as soon as we learn who the last entrant in the men's Money in the Bank match is. Try to steal my title. Spoiler, you won't. And until next time, thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.